I've also just seen recently there was the digital nomad visa.
Correct.
I don't know whether that's in it's currently in a form yet or whatever.
I think so, yeah.
But the idea is there that there's a lot happening to bring foreign entrepreneurs to Japan. However, there's a bottleneck. And the bottleneck isn't culture. The bottleneck isn't language. The bottleneck, unfortunately, is the process of immigration. Not immigration in terms of, coming to Japan or not, as in the actual office is completely understaffed. And they, and I've heard, people do get very frustrated, but we do have to understand that they're doing the best that they can with what they have, right? So that means we need to give them more. We need to rethink how that they work so that they can really help foreigners come to Japan. So if you want to come to Japan, the easiest way for you is to get a job with a Japanese company.
Yes.
And then they can usually sponsor you a work visa. However, when you have your own company, who's going to sponsor your visa, right? And so what I ended up doing was founding a godo gaisha in Japan first. So the first thing I had to do was register the company. Now, this is interesting. I didn't, and neither do you, no one has to, be a citizen or even a legal resident of Japan in order to open a business.
So you can come to Japan on a tourist visa and register your company.
Yes, or you can be sitting in your house in Berlin and be a registered. Yeah, you can register a company in Japan.
Wow.
What you can't do is work in it and then open a bank account, all these other things. But we can get to that in 1 second. But you can officially register a company in Japan as a foreigner, even with no visa title. So what I first did was register a godo gaisha because it was really important for me that I was able to bring my family. And something that's a little bit different in my case that I have compared to when I speak to some of my other, whether it's colleagues or friends or peers, is that they're often married to a Japanese national. And that is what I recently heard someone call the fast pass. Like in Disneyland, how they have like the fast pass. They said, this is the fast pass. And it's quite true. I have to say, my husband is Mexican. My life in Mexico bureaucratically is much easier. I'm Australian, same thing for him, in Australia. But when you're both foreigners, and our son obviously being Mexican Australian, we all needed visas, right? So really the only option for us was to sponsor our own visas, which is what we did.